James Robert Stephen. That's me. My parents couldn't decide on one first name, so they gave me three. James derived from Latin meaning to replace. Robert, a bright beacon of light and shining. And Stephen, Greek word for royal headwear. So I guess my name could be summed up to mean replace shiny crown. This is me being a crown. I guess my parents had high expectations for me. Over the next couple of minutes, I want you to listen. And I want you to laugh. I don't want anybody going away from here thinking, man, that kid has issues. And I don't want to stand here going, oh God, please feel sorry for me. Because you shouldn't. If I don't even take my life seriously, why should you? I've come to terms with the issues in my life and I'm looking back on it now and laughing about it. I don't mean to offend, anger or upset anyone. I just want to show you and anybody that's going through the same issues that I was that someday you can look back on it and go, that was stupid. The word father, or dad, to me, is just another title that you can give someone. Something that you can put on your CV, like a job. Hey, I just got a job as a builder, I can build you a house. Hey, I just got a job as a lawyer, I can get you out of jail. I just got the job as a father. I can constantly post pictures of my kid on Facebook. It's so superficial and impersonal, ironically. But my dad, his name means handsome and good looking, and if you met him you would think that. It was a lie. My dad spends most of his time either snowboarding in some other country, golfing in some other country, or working in his office for an online casino company which I am now a part of. My friends that see him in passing always say he's nothing like me. And they don't mean the fact that he's bald. But they just say he doesn't do anything. Like, we have this one joke where all he ever does is stare and smoke. Like this. Because to them, that's all he ever does. Now my dad and his dad were very close. We would often go see his dad, or my granddad, in Botswana a couple of times a year. He loved his dad, which is why he took it so badly when he died. And now, geez, I don't even get to see my dad a couple of times a year, and we live in the same house. It's not about work or anything that I've done wrong. I don't see him or talk to him. If I'm sad, it's because neither of us can have a decent conversation with one another without at least one of us swearing at each other. So we don't bother anymore. Car journeys and moments in passing are now filled with... By the way, you guys are now in on the joke with me and my friends about my dad. Don't tell him. I mean, he's so out of touch with me that I'll tell you a story that happened a couple of years ago. I just recently brought my girlfriend home for the first time. We were at the front door, she was just leaving. I turned around, and there was my dad, standing in the hallway. Who's that? I mean, she's right there, he could have asked for himself. But anyway, I said, this is Chloe. Is she your... Yeah, she's my girlfriend. To which he replied, thought you were gay, and just walked off! Leaving me to try to explain to my girlfriend the reasons as to why my own dad thought I was gay. Now, I know dads aren't supposed to know everything about their sons, but I'm pretty sure that sexual preference has got to be pretty high on the list of things they need to know about their own flesh and blood. Me and her aren't together anymore. Father figure. That's a weird one to define, isn't it? If it's someone who you're supposed to tell all your emotions and feelings to, and to learn from, he wasn't it. I mean, could you imagine? Dad, I'm having some problems with a girl at school. I was just wondering if you could help. But to be fair, there were my friends, Hayley, Rebecca, Callum and Sam, that I could talk to. And many, many others that helped me through my problems. And for that, I thank you so much. But I wouldn't count any of them as my father figure. Partly because I don't want to imagine any of them in a relationship with my mum, but mainly because, well, I already have a father. The man living in the same house as me is my father. He has successfully gained the title of father. I am his son, ergo he is my father, but he is not my father figure. I don't have a father figure. I don't need a father figure. I don't need anybody to teach me how to shave, or how to fix a car, or about the birds and the bees. There are instruction manuals, mechanics, and porn videos to do that for me, and I'm not going to have an emotional connection to any of them. Father figure is just society's way of saying, oh, look at this poor, defenceless child. It's a screw-up. Who shall we blame? You can't blame society. Oh, no, no. If only there was someone, some man, that this kid could copy in every single way, so that he is normal, and like everybody else. You are not defined by anybody. And certainly not by some figure. There were times that I wish my dad was there, and he wasn't. Times when I wish he would help me, and he would, but always with a moan or a sigh. But there was this one time, the one moment in my life where I finally understood our relationship with one another. It was Christmas morning. I woke up, ran downstairs to the living room, opened the door, and there are all my presents. All my gifts underneath the tree. Including the one from my dad. My dad had gotten me a box of cereal for Christmas. A box of opened cereal. And I stood there, and I thought, well, that's just great! And of course, there were good times too, like I guess most recently he got me this new job. And to be fair, I hardly see him at work still, and there are more things that I can do wrong for him to shout at me for, but hey, it's better than cereal, right? In my life, there have been three things which I have learned from my dad. Number one, when you come home drunk, always know the difference between the back of the TV and the toilet. Number two, my dad came home one night after an evening at the pub, and he was in the kitchen, and he was eating something. So I said, "What are you eating?" "Butter," he replies. I say, "Why are you eating butter?" He goes, "Well, I'm hungry, but I'm too drunk to cook." So, number two, if you're hungry and too drunk to cook, there's always butter. And finally, number three, if it bleeds, we can kill it. Which he learnt from the movie Predator, so I guess Arnold Schwarzenegger taught me that one. Now, I know some of you might be sitting there thinking, James, stop bad-mouthing your dad. He raised you up properly, didn't he? Well, yes. And no. And I love him. I mean, he's my dad. Of course I love him. But I guess the reason why I'm so hard on him is because I don't know if he feels the same way. So if my dad was here today and listening to me, this is what I'd say to him. Are you proud of me? Do you like me? I know that being a big, manly, tough, rugby-supporting South African and giving birth to a ice skating actor isn't exactly what you wanted. But I hope I make you proud. Do you spend hours on end alone in your office, just so that for a split second you can imagine you don't have kids? Do you drink to forget you made a mistake? Now, I don't know if you wanted a son, but I don't want a dad. I don't want a father. I wish you were my friend. Not a Facebook friend or anything like that, because no one should have to go through the horrors of adding their parents on Facebook. But I wish you were someone I could have a laugh with, someone I could tell dirty jokes to, someone to make home feel more homely. When I have kids, I'm going to be the coolest, best, most radical. Do the kids still say radical?
No.
Radical dad ever. When my son, Charlie, and yes, I already know the name of my future child, when little Charlie comes to me for anything, I'll be there for him. Any time that he needs me, day or night. I'll be my son's friend. I'll be my son's wingman. And of course, I'll embarrass him from time to time. It's a parent's job to embarrass their kids, of course. But I'll be the dad. That even when my son's friends go home, they'd say, I wish my dad was like Mr. Stephen.